you were brave enough way early in your career to start something. I mean, you just went overseas, you started a company, you just went for it. Can you give some advice to people out there that have an idea? Maybe they were out shaking the bushes with a potential co-founder, but they just haven't taken the leap yet, and they're kind of nervous or they're scared because they don't have much money or whatever. What advice would you give to those people that just haven't taken the leap yet? What would you tell them?
Sure, there was a lot of naivety in me as a young 23-year-old. But no, I think that I think one of the biggest things I've learned is to try to go after a large market, right?
Okay.
Really trying to find a big problem, because you can be wrong a lot of ways, but if you're chasing a big enough market, there's a lot of room to be wrong.
Good.
I think too, some folks are going to be happier in large organizations, right? I think that this is not for everyone. There's a certain type of person that has the ability to just put their head down and run through a wall, which is entrepreneurship, right? It is hearing no. I mean, when we raised our Series A, I think our list of no's was like probably over 300.
Wow.
Right. And so you have to have a real, I think, passion for what you're trying to achieve, right? What you're trying to solve. I think making sure that the space that you're going after is large enough. And then I think, making sure that this is something that you want to dedicate, a lot of time to, right? I think in the late 90s, IPOs were 4.5 years. Now you're looking at 10, 11 years, to an IPO. So I think, really being really certain that, this is what you want to spend the next, 10 years of your life. And then, making sure you surround yourself with a good network of people, that are going to be supportive, that are going to challenge some of your assumptions. But it's,
I'm guessing you were challenged early on many times.
yeah, no, and still are today, right? I mean, I think this goes back to the constantly learning piece, where startups are rapid iterations of failures, learning from your mistakes, achieved, right? Failures, learn from your mistakes, achieved. And there's a really good circular loop in Ray Dalio's book Principles, where he talks about like basically the iterations and cycles of improvement, right? And learning from your mistakes, getting feedback, and kind of moving to the next tranche of success.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people that haven't tried something like this, they see a company, they look up Socure online, they see your website, they look you up, and they think to themselves, oh, he just did this, and then he started the company and everything's fine, and look at this big company. And it was just like, oh, he just decided to do this, and it just all went super smooth, and there was no hurdles or pain points. It's like
very little about this is linear. Yes, there are lots of scars. I think you almost run out of money a couple of times. They say never pivot and like change your whole idea, right? Like as long as it's still on like the same idea track, although I think Slack rewrote that rule. But I think the biggest thing, for whatever the next company is early on, like iterate very, very, very fast.
Okay.
As you get feedback.
Okay.
So I think, I think really listening to your customers, right? They talk about the voice of the customer. I think really listening to the feedback you receive, iterated on very quickly. I think dropping the ego and thinking, you're 100% correct. At least in enterprise software, right? I think unless you have a buyer, eventually you're going to run out of money.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit Riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.